Welcome back, everybody, to the Skyfall session. So recently, Kamala Harris did an interview on Fox News, of all places. Let's see what David Pakman has to say about that.
Welcome to the show. What a day in the American political scene we had yesterday. Kamala Harris was interviewed by Fox News' Bret Baier, and Bret Baier tried to do gotcha after gotcha, and Kamala Harris caught every single one, crushing Trump and exposing Bret Baier for the dishonest tool of right-wing media that he has become. With edited clips deceptively done, Kamala Harris caught it. And in this first clip, Bret Baier tries to get a basket of deplorables comment out of Kamala Harris. Bret Baier goads her into saying, "Are you saying Trump supporters are stupid?" And Kamala Harris is ready for it. She doesn't fall for it. She doesn't fall for the bait, and truly shameful stuff from Bret Baier. Now, later, we'll see Bret Baier's reaction to this interview.
Yeah, the thing I don't like about politics are questions like that. Sure, hard questions that are honest, but asking if you think people are stupid, come on.
Visibly shaken by how this all went down, because she didn't fall for a single one. Here's Kamala Harris saying, "Of course I'm not going to insult the American people. What are you trying to get me to do, Brett?"
Supposed to be a cakewalk.
So are they misguided, the 50%?
Listen,
are they stupid? What is
God,
it?
I would never say that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within.
On a regular basis, too. And this is like, these are things that he's actually said very recently. They're about to get into it.
Talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
Perfect answer. Perfect answer. You're trying to get me to insult and demean the American people? I'm not going to do that. And by the way, it's Trump who's constantly demeaning people at every rally, in every interview, during town hall events. It's Trump the bully, Trump the demeanor. And then this is really maybe the most controversial part of this interview.
Man, I really like how David Pakman does his commentary, because I almost don't have to commentate. He nails everything.
At the end of that answer, Kamala Harris mentioned Trump talks about the enemy within. Trump is the one saying, part of the problem is other Americans who don't support me. This is unbelievable. Kamala Harris called out Bret Baier for showing a deceptively edited clip of Trump that doesn't include Trump saying we have an enemy within our borders. Okay, so let's do this in order. Here is Kamala Harris after the clip was played saying, "Brett, that's not what Trump's been saying. He's been saying more than that." After, I'll show you the full clip and then what Bret Baier played for Kamala Harris, and you will see how dishonest and pathetic this is. But here's Kamala Harris noticing that the clip was deceptively edited, calling it out. You can't ask for something better than this.
That clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within, that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
Well, he was asked about that specific...
No, that's not what you just showed. In all
Shut him down.
fairness and respect to
you. That was the question that we...
And now Bret Baier gets insanely defensive because he got caught red-handed. She was ready.
Yep.
They tried to pull it on her and she didn't go for it.
You didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that.
Look at this man's face. He knows he's got.
And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the president of the United States, in the United States of America, should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up.
Excellent. Like, so much fire there while still keeping it level. I know people are probably going to call her the angry black woman. That's par for the course. She's not, obviously. She's putting him in his place, rightly so.
For doing it.
Now, of course, the reaction from some of the MAGAPotamians was, oh, she sounds angry.
Yep.
First of all, the angry black lady trope. Come on.
Oh,
Do
he
you
said
guys
it.
have anything else, you
I love Pakman.
pathetic people? But wouldn't you be angry if Bret Baier is setting you up with the deceptively edited clip and Bret Baier knows he got caught? Here are the clips, okay? You will first see what was played by Fox from Trump's answer about this, and then you will see the full answer, which includes Trump calling Americans the enemy within.
So I just want to quickly let all of the MAGA people, all the right-wing people who are watching this right now, are you going to just say, oh, it's full of crap? Or are you going to look at these facts and say, maybe they're right? I'm not saying you have to vote against Trump for this. I'm just saying, are you going to admit the truth?
He asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
Kamala Harris has said you sound
So now we're going to the actual answer here.
unhinged and unchecked power is in our future. What do you say
I
about
thought it was a nice presentation. I wasn't unhinged. You know what they are? They're a party of sound bites. Somebody asked me, can they be brought together? You know, I never thought really, I wasn't thinking like they could, because they're very, very different. And it is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous. They're Marxists and communists and fascists, and they're sick. I use a guy like Adam Schiff because they made up the Russia hoax. It took 2 years to solve the problem. Absolutely nothing was done wrong, et cetera, et cetera. They're dangerous for our country. We have China.
Dangerous for our country. I know Pakman's going to say it, but I just want to make a very, very quick comment. The question there posed to him, apparently based on Trump's own story, was that somebody asked if people can be brought together. And he basically said no, and then declared them the enemy. People of America who would vote against him or be against him, he's declaring American people the enemy.
Dangerous for our country, Marxists, communists, the enemy within. That's Trump's answer about bringing together Democrats and Republicans, liberals and conservatives, left-wingers and reactionary fools, whatever. Trump's actual answer included, this is the enemy within. They are Marxists and communists, and they are terrible people. Bret Baier should be ashamed of himself. Fox News should be ashamed of itself. And Kamala Harris, you've got to give her credit. She was ready. She knew exactly what they were doing. Couple other interesting moments. Kamala Harris did clarify, I'm not just going to be an extension of Joe Biden's presidency. I'm my own person. I bring my own experience, and it's going to be my presidency.
Let me be very clear. My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency.
Nope.
And like every new president that comes in to office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas.
And I hate that people keep comparing her to Biden. She's not Biden, guys. Sorry. Biden would have probably lost. She's definitely about to destroy Trump. Sorry.
I represent a new generation of leadership. I, for example, am someone who has not spent the majority of my career in Washington, D.C. I invite ideas, whether it be from the Republicans who are supporting me, who were just on stage with me minutes ago, and the business sector, and others who can contribute to the decisions that I make about, for example, my plan for increasing the supply of housing in America and bringing down the cost of housing. Addressing the issue of small businesses, which is about working with the private sector to bring more capital and access to capital to our small business leaders, including my plan for a $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers and for small businesses.
And you hear Bret Baier there, desperate to interrupt. And this was a theme, and it got so bad as every one of the traps Bret Baier set, Kamala Harris skillfully evaded.
Before he goes too much further, I do want to go back to what she's saying about the housing thing. The housing thing is huge. If she follows through with the housing thing, she's addressing something that will be a material gain for the middle class and help increase wealth in terms of class. So take note of that. That is a very, very big deal here.
he just keeps trying to interrupt more and more, to the point where Kamala Harris eventually goes, could I like actually answer a question here?
Before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021.
Exactly.
It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the... Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please? But you have to let me...
He's trying so hard to frame this as something negative for her, and he just won't let him do it.
Let me finish,
You
please.
had the White House and the House and the Senate, and they didn't bring up that bill.
Responding to the point you're raising,
okay.
And I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
It's funny how the right reacted by saying she couldn't stay on topic, so he was right to interrupt.
Completely ridiculous. She was right on topic, and he didn't want her to tell the truth.
Have you ever seen a Trump interview? Mr. Trump, should Google be broken up? They're purging people from voter rolls in Virginia. Oh, the question was about Google. Kamala Harris actually stayed on topic. Bret Baier didn't like it, and he would try to change topic. And the reaction from this interview, to this interview, from the MAGA right is pretending like it was terrible for Kamala Harris when she obliterated every single trap set up by Bret Baier. Now let's talk about what Bret Baier looked like after this beatdown was over. Fox News host Bret Baier was visibly shaken after his failed Kamala Harris gotcha interview. I'm going to admit to you, it gives me great pleasure to play these clips for you. Bret Baier set up traps and tried to bait Kamala Harris into calling Trump supporters stupid. He tried to set her up with deceptively edited video clips, which she immediately pointed out, that's not what he'd been saying. You've just edited that in a deceptive way. And it went so terribly for Bret Baier, lost control of the interview as he just tried dishonest tactic after dishonest tactic. And this was Bret Baier afterwards explaining what happened. He looks shell-shocked.
I actually think this is a different take. I think she had a mission that she wanted to do, and maybe she wanted to have a viral moment. She wanted to have a pushback. She came to Fox News and she wanted to have a go after Donald Trump viral moment that plays on a lot of other channels and on social media. And I think she may have gotten that.
You know, what's so funny about, first of all, Bret, it's not a big gotcha that she had the goal of performing well in the interview. Like, what he's fundamentally saying is she came in here knowing I'm going to try to perform well. Well, yeah, that's what candidates do when they're trying to say, hey, make me president of the United States. What are they going to come in and say? I have absolutely no goals here. Yes, the goal is to perform well and to sway voters.
That's what Trump does.
The viral moments from the interview were all self-owns. They were own goals from Bret Baier. He tries to get her to insult Trump supporters. She doesn't take the bait and says Trump's the one who demeans other people. He generated the viral moment by trying to set that really stupid trap.
Right.
He played a deceptively edited video of what Trump is saying about the left, and she caught it, and it became viral.
And hit it with like a Soul Calibur 6 parry.
He set that up. If he had stuck to policy, he would have denied her these viral moments, and it feels very Trumpy that Bret Baier seems really upset that he was outdone. I'm not going to say because Kamala Harris is a woman, but he was expecting to control it and to get her to step into these traps and to get her to react to the deceptively edited video without saying that's a deceptively edited video. And she didn't do any of it. Now, here's what I do sympathize with. Bret Baier says that she was late to the interview.
Yeah, obviously, thanks, Sean. It's great to see you. It was a little tense. We were given the time of 5 p.m. Eastern time. Obviously, my show is at 6 p.m. They wanted to tape at 5 p.m. We said we were going to tape as live. In other words, roll the tape and then just turn that around unedited, uninterrupted, and but we had to do it before 5:15. Otherwise, we couldn't turn the whole machine around before the top of the 6 p.m. show. So we were waiting at 4:55, and then 5, and then 5:05, and then 5:10. At 5:17, the vice president walked out. So it did feel a little bit like they're icing the kicker or trying to.
So listen, I do sympathize with this. In my much more limited experience interviewing elected officials, they are late really often. It's rare when they are on time. I do find it disrespectful. I get that things come up. She's the vice president. She's running a campaign. They all do it. This isn't about Kamala. I very much sympathize with the frustration about they run late, and then that means you get a shorter interview.
So yeah, you see, I mean, you see how fair the leftists and the liberals are. You see how fair we are.
So I'm with Bret Baier on this, but overall, a pathetic display of failed journalism, and Kamala Harris was ready.
Yep, she destroyed this man. All right, we're gonna end it right there. I think David Pakman kind of broke it down as well as I could have. There were some other moments in the interview dealing with immigration that she answered, I think, too right, but it was a good answer for the American people. Not necessarily what I would agree with, but it will work well in the grand scheme of things because people think that there is a major immigration problem. There is a problem, but it is not as major as people are trying to make it out to be. But we can talk about that in an entire different episode. Anyways, for this time, let's go ahead and wrap it up. If you guys can, please like and subscribe. Brand new channel. I just made over 50 subscribers, so thank you guys so much. But I guess the next goal is what, 100? So yeah, please like and subscribe if you can, and comment. Of course, comments are always good for the analytics. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next time.